All right, welcome back. It's another edition of Ram Country Conversations. Brian Roth, voice of the Rams, and happy to be bringing in Chris Woodard, the Colorado State swimming and diving coach, entering his 10th season. Did I get that right, Chris? 10 years now as the head coach?
Uh, I don't know. I lose track of days in COVID, so I definitely couldn't tell you years. Yeah, I arrived back in 2011, so you would be right.
10 years, yeah. This last 6 months, though, has felt like 10 years, too. So maybe you're going on your 20th year.
I don't know. Brian, you look as youthful as you ever have. COVID has not changed you one bit.
It's what you get for not going out of the house.
Right.
Tell me a little bit of this, and we've talked to a bunch of coaches about COVID and how the pandemic has affected them. Obviously, it's had major impacts on all those sports. But how about you? I mean, a lot of your swimmers out of the water for the most part in the summer, and we all know swimmers have to be in the water almost constantly. How are you structuring some of your practices now that you guys are back, knowing that all your kids weren't in the pools all summer?
Yeah, I think two things became apparent. One, once we knew COVID wasn't going away and that our isolation was going to be a little bit longer than we anticipated, was messaging, but without messaging fatigue. So we wanted to make it germane to them. So we spent most of the summer messaging to them, but trying to make our communications short, sweet, and pointed, and more about their whole development. And I think we're carrying that over into the season, right? We're not going to come back into the season just pound. We're going to be really intentional. We're going to make sure that mentally that we're focused and we're as positive as we can be. I think secondly, we weren't sure what we would see in terms of conditioning. I'm actually relieved. I thought maybe we'd be a little further behind. So I think a lot of our girls, they adapted, improvised, and overcame. They found ways to stay engaged. But we're going to go back to a lot of our foundational stuff in swimming. It's learning how to press off the wall. It's learning how to sustain a kick. It's building those motors so we can go faster later.
I know you kind of feel a sense of normalcy returning because you're back on the pool deck. The kids are back in the pool there at Moby Pool. So tell me some of the challenges now that you guys are back in the water, are practicing, of conducting those practices during this COVID era.
Sure. I think probably personally, like any other coach, I mean, you love being around young people. So it's not having that touch, not being able to high five, not being able to get down in somebody's face during a workout and really talk to them one-on-one. Here's what I want to see from you. I know you can do better. You have to kind of pull back a little bit, obviously. As far as changes, they seem to be adapting pretty well to it. Swimmers and divers tend to be a little bit more rule followers maybe than other athletes with certain sports. So they've adapted really well. They file in, they wear their masks, they keep 6 feet apart, they get to their lanes, they get to the board, they get to the dry land area, and they do the work. And I would say also, if anything, sometimes we critique as an older generation, this generation, for not being resilient. I think they're showing amazing resiliencies right now.
All right, so let's look at your schedule. In any normal year, you guys would be beginning competition here in 2 to 3 weeks. That's obviously not going to be the case with the pandemic, but hopefully going to be cleared for competition in December. And again, the conference championship, while a few modifications still going to go on in mid-February. So all that is good news. So let's talk about your team. And you look at last year at the Mountain West Championships, I think every member of your team scored. What does that say about the depth you're starting to build in the program?
It was a great thing. Honestly, it was more important to me and I think our staff that we bought in, and we made that a priority at the beginning of the year. Our motto was all in. That was the motto all season long. We said if we're going to have success, we may not have those breakout swimmers or divers that certain other programs do. Although we do, we have our fair share. We had to kill with depth, and they did it. And to my knowledge, I know it's the first time during my career here in 10 years, but I think that spans back during Coach Manos's era as well. It's been very hard to score all of your athletes. And so I'm really encouraged, especially having lost 3 very capable and impactful seniors, but bringing in a class of 8. I think we're really encouraged about what we could do this year.
All right, so we talked a lot about the swim team. How about on the diving side? And Skylar Williams, a diver for you guys last year, broke 2 school records, and she returns for her senior season. I know you guys are very excited about that.
Yeah, and divers deal with the same limitations time-wise and access. But I think I think they're going to find this is a great opportunity for them to really test themselves. And Sky is one of the fiercest competitors we've ever had. I mean, if you meet her, you would never know it by reading her. She's very calm and laid back. But when she gets back behind the board, she is focused on nothing less than being the best athlete that she possibly can be at that point, shutting out all distractions. So I'm really encouraged. I think this is her time to shine, and I know she's got some big goals, potentially postseason goals.
Chris, thanks so much. Appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. And yeah, hard to believe it's been 10 years, but looking forward to seeing you and your girls back in the pool pretty soon. Thanks so much, man.
Absolutely. Hope to see you in actual flesh at some point, Brian.
I'm hoping to see anybody and not on Zoom. All right, Chris Woodard, State swimming and diving coach. I'm Brian Roth. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Ram Country Conversations.